shit.
Spider-Man stuff I'm about to watch now here with Greg Alba.
With the hey, that is my birth name, the Greg Alba.
That's all.
Hi, I'm Greg. This is Amy Arburn.
Hi guys.
If you guys haven't met Amy or seen her before, she's made a lot of appearances on my brother's channel, Jabby Kawaii, and I said, get over here! And now she's here making an appearance. She has her own YouTube channel. Little by little, she will dominate the YouTube sphere. Go check out her YouTube channel today.
Thank you.
Amy and I actually met at a screening for Spider-Man Far From Home.
We did.
Segue.
Segue.
We're gonna watch a video from new Rockstars called Spider-Man Far From Home, Mysterio Sightings Revealed. I'm not sure exactly what this is referring to.
Me neither.
New Rockstars is one of my favorite YouTube channels. Have you seen New Rockstars before?
No, but I'm getting an education here.
Yes you are,
Yeah.
They do incredible breakdowns. They get the best Easter eggs, the best theories. I love these guys. So they'll go frame by frame, and so I guess from the title that means there's more moments in Spider-Man Far From Home where Mysterio was there than we realized.
Okay.
So I guess that's what he's gonna break down.
He is quite mysterious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know how to yes and that other than yes and play.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and Spider-Man Far From Home is now available in digital HD, allowing the obsessives like me a chance to truly go frame by frame through this film in 4K to savor every precious second of Tom Holland, Peter Parker's final hours in the Marvel Cinematic Universe before he snatches him away from us. One of the craziest Easter eggs I've been catching in my rewatches.
Just realized I'm wearing a Wonder Woman shirt. I'm sorry.
Not just Quentin Beck, but the Mysterio. Since let's be honest, it was a team effort. Quentin Beck, along with former Stark Industries cohorts William Ginteriva, Guterman, Janice, Victoria. All these folks shared an impressive ability of blending in and hiding in plain sight. Like these villains were under Peter Parker's nose the whole time, infiltrating his summer vacation.
Really?
Within striking distance of ruining his life. Hell, you could even say that by the post-credits scene, Team Mysterio truly did win in that regard. Along with Infinity War, Far From Home is the only MCU film to end in utter catastrophe for the hero. I mean, sure, Ragnarok ended with an entire home planet getting destroyed, but it felt like a positive note. Now, one of the deleted scenes from the Far From Home extended cut showed Team Mysterio in their London disguises as Beck made a phony phone call to Nick Fury from their bunker. It was hilarious. Each team member is wearing goofy costumes as tourist bicyclists, and like the costumes they wore in that Prague bar, it reminds us that these conspirators are freaking master of disguises. And if you're looking carefully, they're hiding all over this movie. So in this episode, I'm gonna break down every Team Mysterio sighting that we overlooked the first time we watched Far From Home. Okay, the first hidden sighting shows up in Venice long before Peter shakes hands with Quentin Beck, even before Peter fights what he thinks is the water elemental alongside what he thinks is Mysterio. What he thinks everything in this movie is lies. Anyway, when Peter heads off to buy a necklace for MJ, in the background, on the left, there is a tourist wearing a hat and a Hawaiian shirt. When he turns around, there's a beard there, and the couple.
Oh my god!
Dr. John Watts put Jake Gyllenhaal in costume, snuck him into the background in this scene. And whether or not you know about this, this is the first of many Team Mysterio.
Oh, that is cool.
And thank you to Vincero Watches for sponsoring this episode.
Hey, we've worked with them before too.
We figured, hey, if I'm going to be wildly gesticulating my arm.
Why don't any of these brands ever come back to us?
Yeah, what's up?
So these are the generic or minimalist cookie cutter designs. Vincero are crafted to set you apart.
I have a Vincero watch that I wear, and people are always like, nice watch.
That's a nice watch.
We're getting the theory wrong. A piece like this will instill a sense of rebellious confidence, so much so that you'll call a watch a piece. This baby is gunmetal 316L surgical grade stainless steel. The top grade walnut Italian leather strap. It's got sapphire-coated crystal scratch-resistant glass face. It's not a web shooter, but it still feels real good on your wrist. Vincero provides the same look and feel of luxury watches 10 times the price of theirs. And they offer free worldwide shipping.
I do feel better looking when I wear one.
Just click on the link in the description below for a
little things that just elevate you,
with the
you know?
promo code Rockstars. Okay, back to Team Mysterio creeping around.
That is crazy.
I can't get over this.
From home. There are even more sightings and possible sightings throughout the streets and canals of Venice. After Peter buys a necklace, he and MJ stroll along the canal and briefly passing them, giving them a look. Oh, that's Guterman!
Guy.
He's the storyteller of Team Mysterio. He crafted all the narratives of Beck's backstory and each elemental attack. And looking closely at the background, there might be some sightings of the rest of the team. Like as Peter leaves the shop, there's a blonde woman at a fish counter on the left side of frame looks a bit like the blonde in Team Mysterio, credited only as the seamstress. And right before Goots shows up on the steps in the distant background, there's a bald man who might be William Guitarriva, though I guess if it's this close to the show,
might
he'd
be
probably
stretching.
tucked away somewhere nearby. And shortly after that, there's a woman with dark hair passing behind Peter and MJ. Looks a bit like Janice, the team member who notified the others that Tony Stark planned to bequeath Edith to
believe
Peter
that.
Parker.
Maybe.
The fact that Beck and some of the others were stalking Peter before the first
That's
water
legit.
elemental attack
Jake's
tells
legit.
us that it wasn't Peter's interference that put him on a collision course with Team Mysterio. This wasn't an accident at all. This team pre-selected Venice as an attack location because they knew that Peter Parker would be there and would receive Tony Stark's Edith glasses, which of course is a real thing that they were after. In fact, it's possible that Team Mysterio was even more involved in Peter's whole summer plans. Think about it. We never quite know why Peter and his friends are going on this Euro trip. Now, later on, the chaperones joke that it's supposed to be a science trip, but at no point do any of them do anything sciencey. They're seeing the sights, like museums, festivals, operas.
Trip to Venice.
And on every leg of this journey, their plans are suddenly changed, but really ways to redirect Peter to bring him closer to the action. Peter and Ned thought it was Nick Fury hijacking their summer vacation, but really, this whole operation was orchestrated by Mysterio. So what if the whole trip from the beginning was an offer by this team designed to extract Peter out of his safe home neighborhood and expose him on foreign soil to make him more vulnerable so that they could steal the Edith glasses? If these folks can trick millions of people with hollow projected monsters attacking major world cities, they can definitely rig up a dozen international flights and itineraries, and the team just so effortlessly slips in and out of these travel scenarios.
Crazy.
Gooderman becomes the group's tour bus driver in London, and later he abandons them on the Tower Bridge, and if you look closely, can be seen leaning against an archway near the Tower of London as the kids run past him. With this level of control, it is amazing that any of the kids from Midtown High made it out of this alive. And there's one final new detail I spotted in the rewatch that tells us just how close Team Mysterio got to completely offing Peter Parker. The moment Quentin Beck appears to be dying, and he appears to hand back the Edith glasses, of course this is just a projection, the way he's holding those glasses matches the way that the real Mysterio, hidden beside Peter, is aiming a gun at his head. Peter catches and deflects the shot at the last second, but we don't even have time to breathe a sigh of relief. It happened so fast, but this is one of the many moments we nearly saw Peter Parker's blood spilled all over the screen. So to me, Mysterio, not just Quentin Beck, but the whole team, is the most effective MCU villain besides Thanos. Really, no one else so devastatingly deceives the hero, and deceives several others, including Nick Fury and Maria Hill. Not just the Skrull versions of these characters, but presumably the real Nick Fury, because that Nick Fury thought it would be safe to leave Peter and Talos with Quentin Beck. In the post-credit scene, when Talos reported to Nick Fury that everything was okay, presumably Fury must have thought everything would have been okay too. So Mysterio infiltrated everyone's defenses. They messed him up real bad, and they ruined Peter Parker's life. And still, there's also enough evidence to suggest that Quentin Beck might not even be dead. Go check out that video when you can. But how do you think Mysterio compares to other MCU villains? Comment down below with your thoughts. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EABoss, and subscribe to New Rockstars for the breakdowns and theories for everything Marvel. Thank you for joining me, and just so you know, Philip and I are also similarly locked in a battle of control
They're
with
New Rockstar.
sunglasses. Many will die.
Awesome.
Well,
So, right? Aren't they? Yep, you got it. Yeah.
Look at me.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, no.
it didn't actually spill.
Now you're comfortable. So, they're great at this. They're great at the breakdown, right?
Yeah.
That blows my mind. That just made me appreciate the movie so much more. I was sincerely shocked when I was like, what the hell?
Totally. Well, because I was like, as soon as he said Team Mysterio, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because there's no way Jake Gyllenhaal is showing up on screen and we're not noticing. Because he's Jake Gyllenhaal. And there he was in the Hawaiian shirt.
It's like there's some of those where you're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
When you do breakdowns and theories, you're usually kind of stretching on some points. It's like a big maybe. But no, that moment with Mysterio in the background, it does kind of change like what he was talking about. It does kind of change the perspective of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because it did seem a little bit by happenstance, and some of these scenarios, it starts off with Mysterio meeting Nick Fury and Maria Hill, and then Spider-Man just happens to show up. It seems like Mysterio's team did manipulate this from the very, very beginning of it all in order to try to get Spider-Man to come out there. That is so
That's
crazy.
a crazy
It makes
theory.
the whole thing with Mysterio. I've always loved him as I thought Jake Gyllenhaal was great. I didn't put his villain up there as one of my favorites, but I don't know, for some reason after watching this video, he's now quickly become one of my favorite villains just for how brilliant and evil he is.
I liked him because he made you laugh, and I love a villain that can make you laugh too. Like, you sort of
Yeah.
love-hate them.
Yeah.
Like, he's the bad guy, but that whole, like, director thing, like, no, this isn't right. Like, I just could not get enough of that, so I really liked him.
Like Hitler in movies is really funny.
Yeah, because he's ordering people around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I don't know
Jewish,
if he has
right?
the same. I am.
Yeah, see? So it's okay for
don't know
me,
if
a non-Jew,
Mysterio
to make
and-
this joke.
It's okay for you. Yeah, no, Mysterio and Hitler might be in different categories, Greg.
We'll see.
Is he an anti-Semite? I don't know.
No, there's one thing Mysterio was. He was woke, all right?
I would hope so.
There's one thing he
I
really
hope
cared
he's
about.
woke.
He was a progressive. That was Mysterio.
A progressive villain.
You don't get
There
too
aren't
many.
many.
You don't get too many of those guys.
Down with Spider-Man. Yay, women. Down with Spider-Man. Equal rights.
There's your next Spider-Man movie right there, Sony, in case you're looking for one. Amy, you write too, right?
Yeah, I do.
Well,
On occasion.
if Sony's watching,
Sony,
they'll ask you for a favor.
hire me. Thanks.
Especially if you want to remain progressive, Sony.
Yeah. What he said.
Every time you hire a man, it's one step down the ladder, is
All
what
of
we
them.
say.
There's a ceiling joke there
This-
that I can't think of.
Conversation has gone off the rails. To answer the question of how I think he compares to other villains, I think he's a perfect one for Spider-Man because you got Killmonger and Thanos, who are my two favorite villains out of the MCU. But what I loved so much about what Mysterio did was he really pushed Spider-Man to the breaking point. He pushed him to the edge. Like, one of my favorite kinds of protagonists, and I think DiCaprio does a great job in a lot of his films when he's getting to like the boiling point of losing it.
Yes.
Tom Holland in like the last 30 minutes of this movie, like when he goes to see Happy, Happy shows up on the plane, he's like, like, his eyes are red, he's freaking out, he's injured. Even in that moment with Mysterio when he catches the gun, you could just see Spider-Man himself has been pushed to the edge. So maybe their relationship with each other isn't personal, but their interaction becomes the most personal in terms of villain versus hero dynamic for how far he was able to make Spider-Man succumb to his villainy plans. And so to me, that makes him one of the top villains because of how personal it became over time.
Oh, yeah. It's a villain in less of a sort of like punch you in the face way and more a very calculated, measured villain. And I think that's cool. And did he say Mysterio was the best next to Thanos? Was that what he was saying?
I'm not sure. I mean, it all is subjective. But if he
Totally,
says
but
it, we gotta get his opinion. We're
that
gonna
Thanos
go.
and Mysterio are like, I think they're totally like, you can't necessarily compare them because Thanos to me is this like like alien-esque,
like
like
a
not an
Greg Alba
everyday
kind of guy. Yeah.
No,
Oh wow.
but thanks.
I mean, you learn to yes and a little bit.
Yes, and on to my point. To me, he was just a very like comic book universe villain, which is awesome and super fun. But Mysterio pretended to be Spider-Man's friend.
Yeah.
And then he betrayed him.
It's very manipulative.
And there's a whole other level of evil there.
Right.
Thanos is never like,
Yeah, I mean, the one thing Thanos
let's
is
be friends.
he was always honest, Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos was always very, he had his weird integrity of being impeccable with his word.
Yes,
That's what he was.
very upfront with his intentions, really. Were to eliminate half the human population. Spoilers.
I think what he was talking about in the video was how Infinity War and Far From Home are the only movies that really end with the heroes
that's what he was
pretty
saying.
much losing to
You're
the
right.
villains.
Yes,
yeah.
that's what he wasn't comparing them.
And that is a good point. Yeah, I mean, because I've only seen Far From Home the one time.
Yeah, me too.
And I think this video has really elevated my appreciation a lot for Far From Home. And I mean, that's the most you can really
I think
do,
it
right?
shows us it deserves a second watch. One more time.
The yes ands are a little bit rough around the edges today. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. If you guys haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to New Rockstars. You can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Amy's channel, go check it out as soon as you can.
Thank you.
Subscribe. Follow her on Instagram. Go to her Tumblr. Find her Gmail account.
Twitter.
There's a way where through the process of the dark web, you can find her phone number. There's many ways to get in contact with Amy, and she welcomes all avenues. So do that today.
Yes.
And I would like to give a patron of the day. That's my cue right there.
I do that all the time. Filming videos,
Yeah.
I do the clap all the time.
Just
Transition.
Transition it.
Okay.
Transition. I'd like to give a patron of the day shout out to a man named Taylor Bentley. Taylor and I, we've been talking a lot recently, and he's gone through some pretty significant ups and downs. But Taylor, I want you to know, bud, that the last shout out was very sarcastic, wasn't aware of some things you were going through at the time. So I'm going to take this time to be really sincere. I want you to know that I really appreciate the hell out of you, dude. You've been incredibly supportive to us, and you really don't ask for like anything from us. Literally the definition of ultimate support. And I want you to know that no matter what you're going through, that even though we haven't met in person yet, you have my love. And Amy's only just heard of you, but now she loves you.
I'm sending you love. We all go through tough times, and I'm sorry, and it will get better, I promise.
Time heals all.
Everything, yes.
And also pounds of cocaine.
That can be helpful at times.
Most times. In between, during commercial breaks.
Yes.
So.
And in moderation.
Yes. Everything in
Just write your
moderation.
prescription for cocaine here twice a day, not in the presence of others.
Don't do cocaine.
That's a joke.
Taylor, don't do it.
Don't do cocaine.
Why'd you
Taylor.
bring that up?
I think you did.
No, I don't think so. We're cutting.